Go. Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Shantae's had a day, everybody. All of her IT stuff is blown up today. So
It is blown up. I
that's all
have
right.
been to several locations of internet and mobile data
Yes.
sources, and I'm not going to blow them up on the internet here, but um, it's been a day. So,
Well, we are going to have a good time here and we are just going to relax, take a deep breath, start over. We're going to talk about, first of all, welcome to everyone who's watching this. I am Amber Burkhalter. I am the head of programs for the Dog Gurus. Here with my dear friend Shantae, who is the head of growth for the Dog Gurus. And we're going to talk a little bit today about our platform and the 3 steps to running a smarter business. So I'm going to start by sharing my screen. So let's go ahead and let's go home. I'm going to share my screen here. This is a live recording, guys. So when you watch this, we are live, but my dog may start barking in just a second. So I just want to go ahead and call that out right now of what actually may be happening here in a few minutes. So we talk a lot about the real cost of turnover in pet care. What does that cost you? And then that number is somewhere between, $4,000 to $10,000 a person. So every time we turn over a staff member, it costs a company business. There's also some correlation between a reduction in safety in a facility as you if you have a lot of turnover where people are trying to learn the position. So one of the things that can help with retention is structured training. Would you agree, Shantae? Yeah.
yeah, and I want to dig into a little bit more. I want to paint the picture a little bit more um, theatrically for them so they understand what we're talking about. Because here's what happens when there's not a structured training program at a facility. And the way that I know this is because I actually experienced this at my own business. But you do the shadowing process, right? That is like usually the number one way that people train their staff. And that does work. And we do want you to do the shadowing, but we think there needs to be more structure incorporated with it because
Yeah.
otherwise, what happens is that you have a new person and maybe they have to shadow with 2 to 3 different people in their first couple weeks of training, and they're being told how to do things and how to read dogs in 2, 3 different ways, depending on who they're shadowing. And what it does is it makes it a really confusing experience for the new staff member.
Mhm.
And when they're working with somebody else, a different manager, they're like, "Why are you doing it that way? That's not the way I taught you." But they're like, "Well, so and so told me to do it this way."
Yes. Right. So
So
and so said it.
yeah, there's no consistency in the messaging and the training process, and that's really what you want to overcome with using a program like ours for the staff training.
Yeah, because when you get consistency, you get consistent results, right? It's
Correct,
interesting
correct.
that you say that because I very often remember having this conversation with a new team member like, where did you learn to do it that way? Oh, so and so told me to do it that way, but that's not how we do it. And until we have a structured program in place, we really can't do it in a structured manner, right? So,
Yeah, and then the new person gets number one, they feel dumb. They feel they're already like nervous getting this new job, and it just really turns them off. And that's where you see people just throw their hands up in the air, and they're like, "Whatever, this is not the job for me. This is not a good place for me to be, or I'm not cut out for this." And that's when you see them not return within their first couple weeks of training.
yeah.
That's what
And
I
then you
do.
see that knock-on effect, right? In the business, in the financials, in all of it. So what the Dog
Mhm.
Gurus has done is we have provided structured training. So in our learning management platform, and I'm going to walk you through it just briefly here to show you exactly what you can do with your team from our home screen. We have a structured training. So I'm actually going to go to the browse your library and I'm going to view all. So most of us have some similar roles that run in our company, right? We have a
Hey,
front
Amber, do you want
desk.
to make it a little bigger? So
Canine?
it's kind of, if you can, like enlarge your screen. There you go.
Is that
That's all.
better?
I think that's a little better, just because I can see it better.
Okay.
Okay.
It's filling my whole screen, so I hope people can see it on their end a little bit better than I can. Most of us have like these common roles, right? We have a front desk person, we have daycare, we have lodging. So now we actually also have the canine cosmetologist role. So the Dog Gurus has taken these roles and broken them down so that you have training for your team that is consistent and structured. So let's take a look at the client care counselor. This is going to cover all of your communications with your at your front desk with incoming clients as well as with the other staff, right? Everything, all of the SOPs from how to answer the phone, responding to inquiries. How do we check dogs in? How do we check dogs out? Creating that consistency that Shantae and I are talking about around training your team to deliver the same information in the same way to get the same results and giving them confidence in what it is that they do. What we have also done as woven through this training is our staff essentials, or what most people know as knowing dogs content. And that has two components. So we have our 101 component and we have our 201. For our client care counselor role, we're talking about the 101, which is basic canine body language. If you have anyone in your team that at any point is going to touch a dog, they need this course. Wouldn't you say, Shantae?
Oh, definitely. So I'll talk a little bit, like each one of the roles that we have in our staff training, there's content pillars in those roles. So that means that every single role we do cover canine body language, knowing dogs 101. And it's important for that because even the client care counselor, your front desk worker, they're still having to leash up dogs and
Oh,
walk dogs or approach new dogs safely. So every single role has what I call content pillars in them, and that's like canine body language, that's pet health, that's communication skills, that's workplace safety, and then that's also positive reinforcement handling skills as well.
yeah. Anybody in your building that puts their hands on a dog needs these skills, right? It's also going to keep everyone's going to have the same information and react to the same situation in the same way, which is going to improve your safety from that perspective. So this is just
But
one
I
of the
will say
modules.
one of my favorite things.
Go ahead.
Sorry,
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
I was gonna say one of my favorite things about this particular role, the client care counselor role, is that they have a course on words like two. There's words that we can use in our industry that shouldn't be used. Okay, like you definitely when you're communicating to a customer, maybe certain interactions on the playground,
Yeah.
you want to use a certain set of
Yes,
language. And so
absolutely.
there's a course in there that's like it's like there's words that are better replacement of those words. And so, anyways, I'm not explaining it that well, but
You
that
are.
is
No,
one of
no,
my
you're
favorite
explaining it
parts of
well.
the role.
Yes, there is
So
a
usually when I
language
talk
within
about
our
that,
industry. Huh?
yeah, yeah, when I talk about that, the owners are always like, "I know exactly what you're talking about." I mean,
Yes.
so
Yes.
it's a very valuable course.
Yes, absolutely. Because you can also use language, and I know you'll agree with this, you can use language that isn't what we want to say to our clients, right? It can be upsetting to people. And so some people, it could be even offensive. So you want to make sure that you're communicating, which is why we call this a communication course. You're communicating in a way that is best for your business as well as your clients, right? So I'm going to draw out just a little bit here so I can go back to our plans. And I just want to focus in on our knowing dogs or staff essentials for a few minutes here. So this is what Shantae and I are talking about. When we talk about body language basics and we talk about how your front desk, all the way from your daycare to your lodging, all the way through your business, if someone is going to put a dog on a leash and interact with them, this is what they need. And this is going to cover everything. It covers basic body language, focusing on ears and eyes and tails, sounds, vocalizations, how a dog is standing, how they respond to what's going on around them. What does this tell you about their emotional states? It also is going to talk a lot about human and dog greetings. which a lot of times people will watch these and they're like, oh my gosh, I've been doing this wrong all this time. And I had no idea, right? Like, how many dogs do we know that actually want to be hugged? Not many, would you say?
And if you think that we're joking, it's like when after you hug your dog, if your dog does a shake off, they are shaking off that like anxiety of you hugging them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really interesting point. I actually recently had a conversation with somebody about this, about their dog was clearly not like in a super stressed state, but uncomfortable. And then at the end of what was going on, they just kind of shook it off. And I was like, they're trying to shake off the crazy. That's what I always say. Is like they're just trying to shake out the crazy, right? So if you hug your dog and they shake it off later, yeah, that's telling you something. This is also going to talk about dogs and stress,
Yeah.
dogs and aggression. It's going to talk about leadership. When we look at our 201, this is going to talk more about the dynamics of play groups, which are different, right? Learning about canine body language is different than learning about play behaviors and learning about leadership in a group dynamic environment. It's also going to cover things around breed, behaviors, and stages of developments. As somebody who has worked with dogs for many years from a behavior
Yeah.
perspective, this piece around the stages of developments in dogs is crucial. A lot of your staff is not going to know this unless they have learned it and brought the knowledge with them. How crucial and important it is during different stages of development in a dog that things are handled in a different way or in a specific way. Today, in fact, I had a conversation around leadership on a different call where when you go into a group of dogs, the way that you enter, the way that you carry yourself, the way that you interact matters, right? So displaying leadership when you're in the yard, what do you do if you see some dogs that are starting to interact in ways that maybe aren't gonna, it's not gonna be a great turnout? What do we do? How do we cut that off? How do we stop things from escalating? All of that is going to be covered, as well as what does the dog in stress look like, which is really crucial. You can't manage a group of dogs safely and keep them happy and healthy if you're not 100% sure what a dog in stress looks like.
Yeah, to like really summarize it very easily, it's like knowing dogs 101, staff essentials. That is really about learning canine body language, and
Yep.
201 is how to read canine body language in off leash play. And our goal with this course is teaching your staff to see the signals and the levels of arousal and interfering before it gets to a position of unsafe of safety, like safety issues. So,
Before things escalate, right?
yeah, before things escalate, like somebody, came to me yesterday, they're like, does your staff training teach my staff how to break up fights? Well, there is some content on breaking up fights, but really our goal is that your staff is watching and paying attention and noticing these signals before it even gets anywhere close to that. And
Right.
that's what we're teaching here. That is the goal. You don't want, when it escalates to a point of a fight, it, that's just your staff's in a danger of getting bit and
Yes.
hurt, and the dogs are definitely going to get hurt. And you just that's really, we want to avoid that at all costs.
Yes. So there are precursors to behaviors. These courses will help your team not only identify them, but train them on how to react to that, or even better, how to be proactive.
Yeah,
Right.
de-escalation techniques basically is what we're
Yeah.
teaching.
Yeah. So this is just a little bit of a background about, or a little insight into what our staff training looks like. I'm going to actually navigate back to our home screen, and I am going to go to this handy dandy My Companion. And our companion is built for pet businesses like yours, and it curates and goes through all of the Dog Guru's contents. And how many years of content do you think we have? 15, 20? We have years and years and years of content.
Over a decade, because
Yeah.
we've been in business for I think 12, 13 years. But I will tell you that we have 487 videos in our library.
Gosh, I didn't know that number.
Yeah,
487?
487, nearly 500 different videos on pet care business operations, financials. It's, body language, staff training, it's everything. I mean, it really
Yeah.
is like a master's.
Yeah. So I always like to jump right into the My Companion to show people, just how does it work? How can we use it every day? Is there a way that we can use it to kind of get out of daily firefighting mode, right? So let's just start with, how do I craft my SOPs, right? Everybody needs SOPs. No matter what kind of business you're running, everyone needs an SOP. SOPs are you when you are not there, right?
Yeah, and we're talking about standard operating procedures. That's what
Right.
we mean by SOPs. Yeah, these are the protocols, these are the processes that are documented, so your staff, your new person, can reflect back to those instructions.
Yeah. Because you're not there all the time. You can't be there 24 hours a day. It's sort of like a mini you or a mini general manager that is there to support your team. And it's really, really crucial that you have that support in place for them. So all we put in was, how do I craft my SOPs? We have this fantastic module, how to get your SOPs done. And this will help you walk through getting them done in a quick manner. But there's also templates, right? So we have SOP procedures with manual templates, making SOPs visual, which is an option. I do recommend that you do make them visual for your staff. It's also going to take you to content that is pulled from the Dog Gurus content to keep you on track. It's going to take you straight to, so it'll bring up videos, it's going to bring up PDFs, it's going to bring up a program or a challenge that we did that one of our coaches put together that was very popular on how to get your SOPs done. So it's going to walk you through and help you get this done for your business just by putting, how do I craft my SOPs in here. Pretty cool
Yeah,
stuff.
so what's cool about the new platform with the AI companion is it basically will source the documents or it'll source the videos for you and it'll tee it up right at the point of whatever subject matter you want it to tee up to. So there's no longer the days of having to watch through the videos to find the exact content that you want. It's basically at your fingertips, sourced for you whenever you want it, 24 hours a day. And all you have to do is just ask AI companion and they'll find it for you.
Yeah, I love the tee it up part. That's a real popular feature where it will just take you straight to the video. You can also use this. So I did this earlier today. How can I teach my team gate control? So for those of you that may not know what gate control is a skill that we teach our staff members so they can control dogs at doorways and gates. So they can control the flow of traffic of the dogs to keep everyone safe. And so this is a really good example of what Shantae and I are talking about in regards to it queuing up a video for you. So as you can see, it's going to come back with recommendations. It's going to link you to content within our platform. This is a great example of how it will show you the gate control. And I've got the volume turned down so that we can talk over it. But it found the video. It's going to pull the video up immediately. And then you can watch gate control in action, how to teach your staff how to do gate control. What I also really like about this feature is this little button over here, the assign button. When you hit the assign button, you will be able to go into and pick any staff member, all of your staff member, all of your employees. Let's say we pick an employee. We're going to assign this particular video to that employee, and we're also going to assign a date that they need to complete it. So how could you use this in action? Let's say you're having a meeting with Chow Barkley as our employee on Friday, and you want to talk about gate control and improving his gate control skill. You can assign this video to him. You can let him know that he needs to watch it by Friday. You assign it to him, and now you're going to go into a meeting with this team member already prepped to talk about this, to review this material with them. You can do this with any of the materials that you bring up. You can assign it to a staff member. You can assign it to the whole team. You can, however you want to do it, you can really cultivate or curate it just for your team.
I want to clarify though here that this is only for our staff training programs.
Yep.
That's not for the owner education side.
It is not.
So if you're a launch or a grow subscriber, basically it won't have that feature because there's no staff to assign. It's only for the staff training.
Yes. It is only for the staff training side of this. Absolutely. Do you want to talk a little bit about the launch and the grow side of things? I can tee it up if you'd like.
Sure, absolutely. The other thing, before we move off of staff training, I also just want to point out that our staff advanced program has some really cool courses in there that nobody else has on the market today. So that's our enrichment counselor course. You
Yep.
can really develop a very strong enrichment service for your business with that role because it gives you, I don't know, there's at least 12 tricks. It goes over like general obedience training, it goes over platform training, it goes over fit pause. I mean, there is just so much in there that you could really develop a full program with it. And also, the other one that I want to mention is the canine cosmetologist role, because that is our newest module that we came out with this summer in July. And that is your bather brusher role. We have been getting tons of feedback saying, please put this content out.
Yep.
And now we
Right
have it
here.
available for you.
Yeah.
So it will go over how to give a proper bath, how to use the tools properly so that the dogs aren't getting harmed in the process.
It also includes our staff essentials training of knowing dogs so that
Yeah.
your staff is safe when they are bathing dogs.
Yeah. I mean, really, Staff Advance is really the most comprehensive resource for staff training out there on the market. It really does cover a lot of the bases and gives your staff a strong foundation for them to do their job safely. And it's all about safety because if you want to keep your liability and risk low for your business, it's about safety and making sure that
Always.
your staff is trained. And let me tell you, when there is an incident that occurs and it kind of snowballs into something bigger. Well, when the insurance companies or when Workman Comp says, hey, what kind of training do you provide? It has saved a lot of businesses their behinds because they've been able to go and report the content that the staff member has taken, and you have shown that you've done all that you can to be able to protect them. So that's huge.
Yeah. And you can download it and keep it in a HR file now. And people will leave a job that they feel unsafe. One of the top three reasons that people leave dog daycare facilities is they do not feel safe. And so providing training that helps them feel safe will not only does it keep them safe, which is and the dog safe, which is the most important thing here, it also is going to impact your retention.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's talk about Launch Formula. Launch Formula is fantastic. I mean, listen, we designed this program for people who are in the startup phase. Yes, you can go and you can Google business plan, but there's nothing out there on the market that's going to really help you develop your policies and procedures and actually be able to forecast your first year of operations from experience. And that's what we have provided for you. So if you need to get a lease on a building or if you need to get lending, this is the program that's going to help you do it. It's going to go through step by step on how to forecast realistic, like what are your expenses? If you're priced at this and you have this many clients checked in, what does that look like? It's our co-founder, before she started her pet care business, she was a CPA. So she's teaching all the financials courses. So this is really heavy in financial resource, but it is awesome. And I know Amber just did she just asked our AI companion. So I'll let you walk through that.
Yeah. So how do I write a business plan that includes financial projections? It's going to walk us through how to do that. I want you to notice here it's talking about from counting noses. So counting noses is a financial material that is included in Launch Formula. It's included in Launch Formula all the way up from there. One of our founders that Shantae was just talking about created this. She crafted it, and it is from a CPA's perspective. Is incredibly useful to understand how the money flows, right? How are you making money? How are you losing money? How do you make a financial projection when you're crafting a business plan? So it's going to give us a business plan framework. You can see that that's pretty self-explanatory. It's also going to talk about creating the financial projection sections. And then it's going to give us tools and templates to make it easier. Counting noses explains what financial info lenders expect. So if you're trying to grow a business, craft a business plan, talk to someone about getting a business loan, this is crucial. There, it will include a guide to business forecasting. So it includes examples and a 5-step forecasting model, and then done for you financial forecast templates. Nobody else has this. This is only us. And again, created by someone who is a CPA and is still active and still works with us today, actually. And then it's going to drop you into the content throughout our learning management system. There's going to be documents, videos. It's going to drop you in the spot in the video, like we showed you before with the gate control. This county noses document is going to pull up for you. You can go over here, download the document, and use it whenever you want to use it, however you want to use it.
Yeah. So other things that Launch Formula covers is, we go over like building floor plans, we go over
Yep. Zoning and building
supplies.
development.
Yeah, there's, the permitting and stuff and the licensing that you're gonna need, we're gonna go through that. Um, it even gives you a list of vendors on, who we recommend to utilize for, whether it's flooring, whether it's enclosures, whatever for that matter. But it really is an A to Z on how to start a pet care business. It takes you through 5 stages of starting a pet care business, basically from the moment of conception of your, market research all the way to the grand opening day. So it'll also go over like, okay, here's what's best practices for how to hire an employee and what do I need? Like what documents do I need? It will give you already pre-done templates, so you don't have to recreate the wheel. You can look at ours and use it, or you can use it as a just reference. But the other thing that's really important about this course that I love is that it includes a dog evaluations course and it includes one login to knowing dogs. And why do we do that? Because it's
Right down
really
here.
important to understand. Yep.
Yep.
It's really important to understand, number one, canine body language, and how to do group play, because that's going to help you design your policies and procedures better. And it'll also design the building safer. So it's going to help you design your workflow systems when you understand these things. And then of course the dog evaluations course, look, that's just essential to know how to do that properly, because again, it's going to keep your liability and risk low.
Yeah. And finally, just real briefly, we'll talk about our grow program, and our grow is our next level, right? Once you've got your foundation down, you're ready, you've moved into the business. Maybe you've leased a location. Maybe you've started a month ago. Maybe you started 2 or 3 years ago. This is how do we optimize our operations and how do we standardize our processes? How do we grow? Literally, how do we grow this business? I think
So the grow,
the meat of it.
yeah, the grow is really, we recommend if you've been in operations for a year or longer, we recommend the grow content, because it really does go into depth on, some of the foundational planning that you should have in place. And if you don't, it'll walk you through how to do it. And then we go into operational optimization. So what do we mean by that? That's like, okay, how do you systemize your business? How do you make sure it's efficient? How are you as an owner utilizing your time effectively? Because look, when you're a business owner, yes, it's in the beginning, you're definitely going to be working in the day to day from time to time, but the end goal is for you to be working on your business so you can work on growing it rather than working in the day to day processes.
Yep.
So we talk a lot
Step
about that.
three.
We go
Step three.
over marketing.
Prioritize working on your business, not in your business, right?
Yeah. We go over working in marketing and identifying your ideal client and how to message to them. We go over, again, more in depth into the financials, again, because now after you're open, you should be basically budgeting for the next year. So budgets all happen this time of year. It's the fall time. That's when you should be
Early
working on
planning.
all of your goal planning for next year. What is your budget going to be? What do you need to make? What are your new goals if you're going to hire on a GM? Or if you're going to hire on, a couple more service members, maybe some groomers to the team, whatever that may be, you need to do those projections to understand what your new goals need to be able to handle those new expenses. Or maybe you need to have a big, like you need to redo the flooring, or maybe you need to put in a new air conditioning or filtration system. Who knows? I mean, you have to plan and you have to budget for those things. So that's what we're talking about.
Yes.
And then of course, it also goes into team development, which is huge. So this is the part of the course where it's all about leadership, developing your leadership team. So that way you can step away from your business and start working on it. But it really does give you good practices to have a good feedback system in place, so everybody feels valued and heard. And that's huge, because I think a lot of times when employees don't feel those things, that's when they look elsewhere to work. So we go over things like that, but it's really awesome. And then of course it's really heavy on like how to create your SOPs and whatnot, but fantastic course for the existing business. And listen, I talk to business owners all the time that have been in business for 10, 15, 20 years and they don't have any SOPs in place. This is the course that helps you get all these things in place. They've never done a budget before. They kind of know that they're making money, but they don't really track KPIs. This is the course where we teach you how to do that.
Yeah, because you can't go next level if you don't have a handbook, you don't have SOPs, you don't really know your financials, right? You're making money, but you don't really know where the money's coming from. So if you don't have all of those in place, you can't really grow your business the way that you want to grow your business. At the end of the day,
Yeah,
this is
absolutely.
without a doubt the most robust program out there, right? We have everything that you could possibly need from staff through to owner, from communication all the way down to enrichment, like you talked about earlier, evaluating dogs for play. It is extremely robust.
Now, a lot of times people come to me and they're like, I don't have time to watch all these videos. I don't
Yeah,
have time to, is there any way that I can just talk to somebody? And I want to tell you that yes, there is that option. So every single one of our subscriptions comes with coaching. And Amber, if you can go back on and show the LMS, I want to go over the events feature because
sure.
that's really important. So every single one of our programs goes over group coaching or includes group coaching, or there is a program where you can do one-on-one coaching. That's our Profit Network program. But the way that you can ensure that you're not going to miss out on any of those activities or any of the group coaching sessions or the training sessions that we provide or office hours is if you go to the events tab.
So it's right over here.
And
You just get down to it.
yeah, whatever tier of membership or subscription level that you have, it will only show you what's in your tier. So if you're a growth tier member, you will get all access to everything in launch and everything in grow. So you actually get double the options of training group coaching sessions to train to. So if you really have a question that you want to talk to one of our coaches to, join one of those because there's always time for Q&A, whether it's a training session or not. Sometimes we just do open Q&As. So
Yep.
that is the way to get that human contact, to get that one-on-one, to bounce your ideas off of us and get our response to it. Now, all of our coaches on the team, we have all been business owners or we're still business owners. But a lot of us are business owners who successfully exited out of the business. So whoever you're talking to, you're going to be in really great hands and they're going to be speaking from experience. We're not one of these shops where we just have an idea and see an opportunity in the pet care industry and we
Yeah.
decide that we're now going to be a coach. We've
Yes.
actually done the work, we've been in your shoes, and we've actually ran successful businesses.
We've walked the walk. I had a conversation today with a group of general managers, and I'm like, I've been there. I know exactly what you're going through. I know exactly what you're dealing with. Let's talk about it. Let's figure out best practices together, not from this place of, oh, I want to be a coach, etc. Like this is actually in the trenches. We've done the work and we want to help you do the work. What I do like about this events tab is you can add this to your calendar. So by clicking on add to your calendar, it'll download it. You can put it straight into your iCal, straight into your Google Calendar, set a reminder for it so you don't miss anything. So yeah, thank you for calling that out because I think that's really important as well. Okay. I guess that's probably a pretty thorough review. I'm going to drop
I
into
think
the
so.
chat the call to action. So if you are more, if you want to see more, if you are interested, we would love to talk to you. Just follow this link. You can set a strategy call with the lovely Shantae and talk about a 7-day free trial, which we would love to see you try our product. We know that you will enjoy it and it will help you with your team and help you as an owner and help you as a business owner. So, do you have anything else you want to add?
I would just say that when you do book a call with me, first, my main goal is to kind of understand where you're at with your business. So, I usually try to dig in and find out what your goals and challenges are because, listen, I can't talk to you about and I can't give you recommendations until I know exactly, like, I learn more about you and I know exactly what's going on and I learn, like, what your goals are from the conversation. So
Yeah.
that's really how it goes. It's not necessarily where, I'm going to go and just start like telling you to buy this and that. I'm really going to try to learn what are your needs and then go from there. Okay.
She's fantastic at it. definitely want to grab a call with her if you can. So thank you everyone for watching us and hanging out with us today. We hope you have a good afternoon and we can't wait to talk to you and see you soon. Bye now.
All right.